Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Ethereal Aeons Activation. I'm Leslie. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. And if you're coming back to another video, thank you so much for being here. Your presence is very much appreciated. So today, I wanted to talk to you guys about a pretty condensed subject. I want to stick to a single topic today, which I usually don't do. And I've been trying to kind of stick to a singular topic and really expand on a multifaceted level. And that's what we're going to do. Today, I want to talk to you guys about how so many people are incredibly eager to begin their spiritual evolution, meaning they want to pick up on a little bit of everything so that they can maximize their awakening, so that they can maximize their potential to tap into the supernatural, to tap into their supernatural abilities, which is basically abilities that have always been within us, that we've always had, and everything that we're trying to pick up on the world around us, all of that's within us as well. It's really more about remembering. But what happens is when you go about it in the external reality, trying to pick up how to activate your pineal gland, how to create your own brews at home with psychedelics and all of this, what can happen is that you can be led down a rabbit hole that is not of a divine nature. Why? Well, primarily because the foundations of real spiritual growth is emotional development. And that doesn't sound as fun. It doesn't sound as appealing, as sexy, or whatever you want to call it, because people are still very heavily programmed, despite the fact that they might have had a spiritual awakening experience. And maybe you've been going through it, so you feel a little bit more adept to what you're experiencing with the energies and really how you view and perceive reality around you, the Maya, the illusion. And that's absolutely great. And that's absolutely where you should be. You should be, at peace with where you're at in that sense. It's not so much about trying to create any friction, but it's actually more so it's more about gazing upon the mirror of yourself, seeing the reflection truly, and not so much trying to flip the mirror out externally. We often think that if we do that, we'll understand ourselves better. And that is a loophole that will keep you trapped. So while working on our spiritual and emotional development might seem like, oh, talking about emotions, talking about how they're linked to different energy centers in your body, maybe that's something I've already learned about. I've already known that. And it's the same thing I always say about affirmations as well, is like affirmations and mantras, which are different. And, I will have a video soon about the difference between affirmations and the difference between mantras. But let's stick to affirmations here. It's like, oh, I know what affirmations are. I've already said them. But until you are completely integrated and embodying the version of yourself, the sovereign version of yourself, walking the earth, until you are that version, you have to do your affirmations every day. That's just how it is, because our minds are vast oceans. It's a vast, vast ocean in there, the subconscious mind. And as soon as you tackle one thing, it tends to follow up with another thing. And so what we're doing is we're clearing. What does this mean? It means that, well, what I want to actually refer to it as a karmic imbalance. So a karmic imbalance refers to a state where the energy of past actions, either in this life or previous lives, creates friction or blockages in your current life. It's essentially when the law of cause and effect is out of alignment. So this is what I'm speaking of. I'm speaking of the fact that you have had a spiritual awakening. You are learning so much about past spiritual enlightened beings or civilizations or whatever it may be, star systems out there with cosmic entities who are here to help humanity. all this and all of that. But yet you still are becoming triggered, yet you still wear masks in front of other people, yet you still have a deep sense of unworthiness. And I have a list here that we'll go through. So number one is rapid mood swings, feeling happy, then suddenly anxious or irritated. So it's this influx of emotions just being shaken up. And the way they get shaken up is by whatever's happening externally around you. This is you being influenced, you being controlled. It's deciphering what gauge your emotion will be on. Two is overreacting to small things. Minor comments trigger strong reactions. Three, impulsivity, decisions or words driven by momentary emotions. Do you go off on people? Do you text people angrily? Do you send emails with, anger behind them? Are you directing your anger outward? Difficulty letting go, holding on to grudges, resentments, or mistakes. The runaround with keeping ourselves trapped in emotions is the epitome of this one. Holding on to things, carrying things that maybe aren't even yours. Five, self-doubt spikes confidence. Confidence fluctuates dramatically. So depending on who you're around, your confidence might be way up here. And if you're around someone else, it may drop way down here. People pleasing, saying yes, and when you really want to say no, then feeling guilty or drained. Huge one. Anxious anticipation, worrying excessively about future events. And that's basically anxiety. Do you suffer from anxiety? There's so much of it now. And that's really what everything's intended to create, is this sense of anxiety, which is worry, which is fear, which is not trusting. You're not trusting what this reality, what the divine has in store for you in the future. You're so worried. And so we know that really whatever we sit in with these emotions, whatever's stirring there, whatever we're mixing up, whatever thoughts we're mixing up with our emotions, vice versa, is basically the ingredient list that we're giving to the universe, the reality, to divine intelligence, what we want to receive. So be very aware of that. Emotional exhaustion, feeling drained from intense emotions. This is a big one. A lot of people suffer in silence with this one. Emotional exhaustion, feeling drained from intense emotions. And this is when we really internalize things. So we're internalizing the world around us on such a raw, and it feels so real way, but it's not real. And this is the illusion that we must release. This is the veil that we must drop within ourselves. Jealousy or envy burst triggered by others' success or attention. When they see a successful person or a confident person, they are extremely triggered. And so that's a big evaluation you have to take upon yourself if you're experiencing any of these things. These impulsive feelings and emotions are coming from somewhere deep down within. And it's like our nervous system is constantly communicating with the invisible world around us. It's constantly in communion with the astral spiritual realms. This is why you can feel things intuitively. This is why you feel something instantly when, let's say, the energies aren't right. You can't see it, but you've already picked up on it, and your body's already warning you of something. And so a lot of times when we're picking up on certain, like any of these examples I just gave you, you don't even process it in your mind. They just happen instantaneously. And that is because your energy centers, your nervous system, everything that you can't see, and basically everything that most people have not learned about their entire lives, they're out of tune. And when those are out of tune in an out of tune reality, then there is a big karmic imbalance. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit more here. So when we talk about emotions, it's not about not feeling them. In fact, they're the most natural thing you can feel in this reality. It's just the way it works here. And it's not a bad thing to feel emotions whatsoever. And that's what I want to touch base with now here too, is that the idea is that emotions are not bad or good in themselves. They are energies meant to be experienced, understood, and transformed into higher states. So emotions are seen as part of the human journey, not to be suppressed, but refined. This is the job of the alchemist, to refine these things Hinduisms see emotions as teachers, karmic signals, and energies to be purified. They are not to be denied, but transformed into clarity, equanimity, and devotion. Spiritual growth without emotional maturity equals an imbalance. This is why we see the mad genius. His brain power is turned way on, but his emotional intelligence is off. So he becomes a mad, evil genius. We also see the archetype of the evil occultist. He has mastered all the spells. He or she has mastered that wisdom. They have been handed that wisdom. They've searched for it, but it's the evil occultist. Also, the false guru. That's another archetype as well, just wanting the praise, teaching, but not embodying themselves. So the level of intelligence and knowledge that you consume is not the point. Every thought, every word, every deed is part of this karmic law, is part of this karmic reality that you're creating around you. And so if you're not acting, feeling, being out of a state of deep intention, then what you're creating around you is chaotic, basically. You're now involving different external influences to be a part of what you're creating. And that's always going to be tampered with. The alchemist refines all of that. Piece by piece, person by person, emotion by emotion, situation to situation. This is something that takes a long time to become fluent at, to where it just is this way. So if you don't develop emotionally first, you risk becoming more fragmented instead of more whole. Spirituality, in fact, and magic as well, is all about this. Spirituality, magic, metaphysics, learning all of this is so that we can become more whole. So remembering that the purpose of what we're trying to do here. Your higher practices will only amplify your unresolved shadows. And that's completely normal when you're first starting off here and for years and years to come. This is completely normal in general, but I am speaking to those of you who are finding themselves in the situation where you just feel like you haven't gotten the results yet. And maybe you're falling back a few steps every time you take a step or two forward. And that's because, yeah, your higher practices, as in meditation, your higher practices, as in whatever you do, will amplify your shadows because they have to come up. You're literally like shaking up a muddy body of water, and eventually clumps will come up to the surface, and it can feel really uncomfortable physically, mentally, emotionally. And so that's how we clear it out. It's not an easy job. And your ascension will continue to keep you spiraling back down until you face yourself. So until you face that uncomfortable feeling, until you face what's coming up from the muddy waters, from the deep subconscious, from the programming, from the karmic ties, these karmic imbalances will keep you spiraling back down. And regardless of that, either it's like that's how things really work out here. It's like everything's constantly spiraling and revisiting itself to a different degree, revisiting the same steps, but you're on a different level. So it's important to keep that in mind. So while we have this yearning to know and to gain like the full pineal gland activation experience, to gain the kundalini activation or awakening, all of this, be sure that you have found deep interest and like a deep sense of curiosity to master your emotions. We want to pull the gauge that way, not only because it's this, I wouldn't say safe way, because it's definitely the hardest way, but it's working in progressions and clearing out the layers first before we find ourselves in a situation that you have to face so much at one time that, yeah, you risk the fact of having soul loss, soul fragmentation, or experiences where you are stuck on a loop and it didn't need to be that way. And it's just another karmic lesson as well. So I wanted to bring that out. I wanted to bring that message to you guys and continue to build on this message. I feel like this is something that's definitely ongoing for all of us. So there's so much more. Just start noticing your intentions behind your emotions. For example, the list I gave you, start knowing, start calling yourself out to why you have envy bursts triggered by others' success or attention. Why do you have this anxiety? Where are you not trusting? Are you feeling unworthy to know that you are taken care of always? Is there a sense of unworthiness there? And all of them truly do lead to self-love. They all do. When you have true, unconditional, always present self-love, none of this is existent in your reality. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Let me know how you are working through all of this in the comment section below. Check out the links in my description. I have available the 4-day energy training quest. They're 4 Qi Gong classes, and I have a private playlist available. If you click the link in the description, you'll get that link and have access to the classes. This is also how we work through the karmic imbalances, working through the meridians, working with our breath and movement. So please like the video and subscribe if you're not. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon.